Over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've seen a ton of videos floating around talking about the so-called top 5 niches of 2026, and they're always some version of the same list. Passions, pets, professions, hobbies, milestones like weddings or birthdays. No particular order, just reshuffled words. And a recap, that's it. Pets, passions, professions, hobbies, and milestones. That list makes sense because it's a catch-all. It basically includes everything. There's nothing revolutionary about it at all. It's not guru insight, it's common sense, and maybe even just basic logic. Those 5 categories have covered Etsy, Amazon, and POD since forever. Literally. They worked in 2024, they worked in 2025, they worked in 2020, and they worked when I started doing this in 2012. Of course, they're still going to work in 2026 because they include about 98% of everything people buy. So no, the goal isn't just to do more stuff in those super generic buckets without getting a little more particular. There is one area, though, that consistently sits outside that clean little box, and that's the ironic, weird, meme-driven stuff. The awkward humor, the absurdity kind of thing, the unpolished human, slightly unhinged energy. If you remember the silly goose trend that started a few years ago but just won't die, that didn't come from some deep niche strategy. It came from a kid's birthday invitation. Then it exploded onto literally everything. 2.5 months ago, inside my membership, I dropped the trend report for November and December. One theme that cut straight through everything was funny, ironic, weird designs. And more specifically, frogs. Frogs doing human things. Frogs with swords, frogs in capes, frogs doing yoga, frogs on scooters, frogs wearing cowboy hats, simple hand-drawn styles, vintage aesthetics, smaller chest prints, nothing really flashy. And the phrases were even better. Sometimes I'd just be farting. Me? No problemo. Narrator? It was all problemo. I'm burnt out, my lord. Today's yoga pose is downward spiral. I have to say weird stuff or I'll die. Every single one of those listings was under 3 months old and firing on all cylinders. And what ties them together isn't the animal, it's the emotion, it's the social anxiety, it's the burnout, it's the mental overload. It's saying you're fine while clearly not being fine. It's that quiet humor that people use to survive modern life. That's what stands out heading into 2026. Not another generic passion niche. Not another pet pun. Not another job title. To be clear, they will always work. And they're a safe bet if you drill down into a few different ideal customers to get more specific. In 2026, people are craving human connection again. Realness, imperfection, things that feel like they came from a person and not a prompt. You're not selling a shirt. You got to remember this. Nobody ultimately cares if it's Comfort Color 717 or a Gildan 64,000 at the start. What sells the shirt is the idea on it, the feeling, the identity, the yeah, that's me moment. So instead of chasing 5 categories that already include absolutely everything, the real move is drilling into something you actually understand. Your sense of humor, your stress, your awkwardness, your perspective. I promise you that's where the edge is. And today we're going to do a deep dive into this weird core ironic meme-driven category or lane, why it's working, why it's growing, and how to use it intentionally instead of accidentally. And I'll give you my why it's actually selling 7-item checklist. So stick around and hit that subscribe button. So the first thing we're doing here is going to my trusty bookmark that I have saved, which defaults to shirt and bestseller. But looking down, a few things, looks like cats are on fire here. But right away, we got frogs. So that's it, you're going to see. Super funny. Then the second row, we got frogs on my way to hoard books and cause chaos. Funny, again, just playing on some, more human emotional vibes. We got the I'm burnt out, my lord shirt. Funny frog one that I had featured back when it was, under a month old. And look at this thing. Monthly sales, 113. What was this one? Monthly sales 38. Hold on, partner, I'm overstimulated. This one is 9 months. Monthly sales 16. This one is a month older, a little slightly different of a design. Again, this one ripped off this person here. Another one here. Look at this. The only squat I'm doing is diddly. Funny. This thing is a month old and it's 26 sales. Okay, so we've got all we're going to see with this now because I filtered by bestseller in my bookmark here, and I've just added frog space. It keeps the bestseller here, and it's only going to show us bestsellers and ones that are marked with popular. Now, off to teach English. So we've got an English teacher one. This thing is 2 months old. It's already got 2 sales. It's got a ton of views. Conversion rate looks like pretty high, so it's click to buy ratio. Off to cause a kerfuffle. The frog on a bike kind of thing has come from this image here, which was a children's book back in the day. It's called Frog and Toad. Actually using this in that phrase is trademark infringement too. It's a classic book. You are not allowed to use this, people had put on it and what got it famous about 3 or 4 years ago now was, you can look it up. It's a song by NWA called FTP, and they had that 3-word phrase underneath this image here. And then it just kind of fizzled out a bit because these guys here, Frog and Toad, were vigilant with filing takedowns. So I would argue that this should be, don't do this. Especially don't put the book in there, because their publishing company will come after you. But then, we just had a resurgence of frogs again about 6 months ago. So I shared that in my trend report as I showed you guys, and now we're seeing all kinds of stuff that is 1 month old, 2 month old, 3 month old, 2 month old. So since my trend report, there's been so many more that have come out, and they're all popular now or bestsellers. There's the one specific from it. There's this one, Rage Consumes Me. Super funny, super ironic. Again, very much a hand-drawn look here. Small on the shirt, right? To preserve the kind of irony without being like too loud. So now we're up to 6 months on this one, which we had. Still doing 56 sales a month. I mean, it's just endless, right? And now we can come over to the sidebar here, and all these stats we're seeing is with Everbee. So it just kind of takes the guesswork out. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description to get you a massive discount on that. Using my link will save you $120 on the annual, and you'll get the Etsy Growth Academy for absolutely free. So if that's something that interests you, I suggest you check it out. I have the Everbee Chrome extension installed, so you can come over here to product analytics now, and it's going to pull up everything that has populated for my search query, which was frog shirt. So it's showing you right now 56 listings based on their database of 130 million plus listings. But right here in a quick snapshot, we can see it was the Tylenol, my lord, trademarked. I wouldn't use the Tylenol, but you can, substitute that with so many other things, right? Could have been the tacos or something funny, right? Looking at this though, in the last month alone, look at these ridiculous numbers. We've got 434 sales. You've got $17,000 in revenue just in December, and the month isn't even over yet. Let's sort by growth rate here. And look at these. I have to say, where's stuff or I'll die? The ones that I featured 2.5 months ago. Look at this thing. It just fired away. 700%. It's got 52 sales, $591 in revenue already. Sometimes I just be farting. It's the other one that was in my trend report from 2 months ago. 119 sales, up 700%. The No Problemo narrator one, look at that. All the ones I predicted 2.5 months ago are in the top 5 when I sort by growth rate. Holy validation here. And when you're done with it, you can just click the X here and you're back into your Etsy search results page. So you don't actually have to leave Etsy at any point, which is really nice. Common element here that I'm seeing is the comfort colors. Got the dark green, this weird teal-y color. I don't love it. I think it clashes with the green, but it's a bestseller. So it's mostly greens and earth tones. We've got our creams, our grays, the washed out green. Comfort colors, comfort colors, comfort colors. So we know it's a comfort color. It looks like their regular price is $34.99. I think that's a great price for the comfort colors. They've got 30% off sale. And you can see right here in Printify that the lowest price here is $10.72. So if we were to choose manually and I went with something like Monster Digital, we can click on this to see the provider info. And with Printify Premium, which you can also get a massive discount on for, and a 30-day free trial of this, you can get this for $11.05 a pop. So without Printify Premium, you're looking at, what is that, $12.74 more. So this will save you, $1.74 more per every single shirt sold. Plus you're getting to leverage these prices for free for 30 days. The standard shipping is 2 to 5 business days. Monster Digital for me has been my go-to, great turnaround, and seldom do they have product or inventory shortages. So let's figure out what kind of money we're looking at here, because that's what we're all really here for, right? Profit calculator now. So the nice thing here is that it populates with the pre-sale amount. So we know that our discount is 30%. You can see that right here in the green. Our shipping price, we can scroll down here till we see it. So to the States, $5.99. $11.05, and the shipping was $4.75. We want to make sure this is on percentage here. So look at the amount of money these guys are making here. This is a great margin with a 30% off sale. Total revenue here is $30.48 with the 30% off amount. Total costs and fees are our associated here, plus processing fees and everything factored right in. So it takes the guesswork out. The net profit is $11.32, or a margin of 37.14%, almost 40% margin. Now, if we drop this down to 20%, watch that number go up. $14.48. If we drop this down to full pop now, they're making a 50% margin. Now, my rule of thumb has always been to at least make a 30% margin while running a 30 to 35% off sale. So if even at a 35% off sale here, their margin's still well over 30% at closer to 34%. So these are big numbers, super easy to digest in here. And you can run this all while you're listing your items so you can know exactly how much money you're going to make. That's the baseline. Everbee to spot demand and to validate what's selling right now. Printify to fulfill. That part is solved. If you stop there, you're just trend following. That works short term, but it caps you. So here's what actually moves the needle after Everbee and Printify. Number one, decode why the thing is selling, not just that it is. Everbee tells you what is moving right now, but it doesn't tell you why people are emotionally reacting to it. This is what's going to set you apart here, so pay attention. When you see a winning design, break it down. What feeling does it let the buyer safely admit? What kind of social pressure or internal thought is it poking at? Is it self-deprecation? Is it burnout, defiance, awkwardness, maybe irony or rebellion, quiet rebellion even, subtle rebellion? Something that says a message for you so you don't have to be loud anymore? That frog shirt isn't selling because it's a frog. It's selling because it gives people permission to say, I'm not okay without being heavy. Your job is to extract the emotional hook and then re-express it. Number two, build clusters, not one-off designs. Most sellers find one winner and then they chase the next shiny object. Instead, take one emotional theme, burnout, humor, social anxiety or awkwardness. Create 10 to 20 variations around that same core feeling. Keep the visual language consistent. That's your aesthetic. This is how you accidentally build a brand on purpose. It's got to be identifiable. One joke that turns into a bestseller, luck. A cluster of related jokes, that's a signal to buyers that this is where they can go for more of the same. Number three, pressure test outside of Etsy before you list. Etsy data is already lagging. The earlier signals usually show up elsewhere first. Where to look before you list? Pinterest. Saves and comments, not likes. Meme pages. Comment sections are absolute gold. Not just reactions. Look at the engagement. Reddit even. Look at the phrasing and tone, not just upvotes. TikTok captions. What people repeat in the comments. You seeing a trend here? If people are rephrasing the joke in their own words, that's demand forming. Number four is to use Printify strategically, not passively. Most people just pick a shirt and move on. Instead, match fabric vibe to the message. Burnout, irony, vintage humor, maybe softer or more washed out styles like the Comfort Colors 1717. Limit color options to protect the joke. Let negative space breathe in your design. Weird humor and irony dies when it's overproduced or too cluttered. Ultimately, the production element here, the garment you choose, should support the message and not distract from it. That's why t-shirts are my favorite. Number five, turn trends into lanes you can own. Trends are just raw material. What you need to do is ask, can I niche this by tone? Can I niche this by life stage? It's your milestones, right? Can I niche this by worldview? Now we're looking at, passions. Example, not frog mean shirts, but quietly unhinged humor for burnt out millennials. That's defensible, that's relatable, and that is repeatable. Number six, might ruffle some feathers here, but decide who you're not for. This is where people chicken out. Everyone tries to target everybody, but if your design tries to be liked by everyone, it's not going to be loved by anyone. Weird humor works because it repels as much as it attracts. Repulsion is now a feature. It's why things that were underground were always kind of the coolest. Take a look at me as a Gen Xer. It repels societal norms and makes us want to identify with like the subcultures. Number seven, build recognition, not just sales. Same font family, same spacing, same tone, same overall brand cohesion. When someone scrolls and thinks this looks familiar, you've already won. That's how you stop racing to the bottom. You create meaning. So if you take nothing else from this, let it be this one thing. The edge going into 2026 isn't finding some secret category nobody knows about. The edge is expressing something real in a way that feels human again. Awkward, honest, a little unpolished. Use Everbee to spot the signals. Use Printify to ship the product. But don't outsource your thinking, or you'll be in the same spot next year as you are right now. The sellers who are going to win aren't the ones uploading more designs. They're the ones who understand why something resonates and then build around that intentionally. Weird works because it's human. Humor works because it's relatable. And relatability is what actually sells. So take one trend, strip it down to the emotion, build a small focused cluster around it, and let your lifetime of experience do the heavy lifting. That's how you stop throwing shirts at the wall and start building something people will actually recognize. All right, if this helps, hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up so YouTube knows to keep showing it to the right people. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.